my channel. My name is V. For today's video, I am going to be getting my study schedule together. I kind of had it done since I started a little bit late, waiting for my university to tell me what was going on, blah blah blah. So I'm having to rejig a few things around, and obviously I know it's an online exam, it doesn't make a difference, but it kind of changes how I'm going to prepare for these because they're now open book. So yeah, that's all fun. So for today's video, we are going to be planning my studies and having me decide exactly how this is going to map out. So we are back to the study videos as if we're back at uni, because I'm trying to make everything feel as normal as possible, even though it's not, and there is absolute catastrophe happening outside and the world is in a bit of a dark space right now, and I recognize that, but I'm trying to somehow keep my head clear in terms of getting ready for these exams, because regardless, which is crazy to me, regardless of what's going on outside, apparently universities still want us to carry on as normal, which is impossible, but I'm gonna try to just have a good chance of getting a good degree, since yeah, it's all I can try to do. But I'm struggling to act normal when things are literally not normal, and the numbers that I see on the TV every day of the number of deaths and things is breaking my heart, because those are lives, those are human lives, and every day it's adding up. It's stressing me out, but try my best to just concentrate on school, which is hard, but I'm trying. So these are going to be my efforts. So if you see me not on my best form, it's because we're going through like a devastating thing right now, you know. So for the next couple of weeks, maybe even a month, I am going to be doing study videos. So what I need you to do right now, before I even begin with what I've got to do today, is comment down below what you guys want from me. So do you want real-time study with me, where wherever I'm studying, you guys just want me to turn on the camera and leave it running for like an hour or 2 hours? Do you want study tips on how I am actually doing my revision? Do you want me to show you how to do mind maps, how to do flashcards, how just what do you want from me? Because I could easily start pumping out random content right now to do with revision that you might not want, so you need to guide me so I know what to do, and I'll make a schedule of what to film based on what you guys comment down below. So today's video is just you guys just helping me. Well, you're not helping me because I can't hear you talk, but I'm just gonna like talk to myself, I guess, to try and wrap my head around what to revise for first. There still isn't an exam timetable for me on when my exams are, which blows my mind. I don't get that. So I'm just gonna plan for June. I'm just gonna say roughly in June. So I have 6 exams coming up, right? I think I told you guys this before in the other video, that I have 6 exams in total, and I'm trying to revise about 5 topics or maybe 4 per exam. Plus, I need to do picture questions, so get familiar with those, which is my worst. Like, I'm so bad at that. So 5 topics per exam, do some picture questions, plus have some quotes ready. So what I need to basically do right now is decide which exam I'm going to study for first, without even knowing which exam I actually have first. So I'm just going to try to make it as equal as I can, and then when I find out, I'll rejig. So my method of attack here is to go for the exam that I find the hardest first, and I have all of the exams here when we've done mock exams that are coming up. So all I have to do is kind of decide which of these was the hardest for me and start with that, because if I start with my favourite, I'll spend so long on it and neglect the hardest ones, and I know that the ones that I love the most, I kind of know them best. So to make sure that I'm on track, I'm gonna start with all the ones that I dislike, not dislike, but the ones that I know the least. And for my exams, I have Greek, history, which was hard, so I think that should be in the pile of start with. Sex and gender, you guys know I loved sexuality and gender so much. I loved it. Like, I loved this topic, and it's not going to be difficult for me to like sit down and revise this, you know. So we'll put that to the good pile. Then I had Egyptian. Oh, I loved Egyptian art and architecture. That's going in the love pile, so we're saving that for later. Greek art and Greek art and archaeology. I liked it, but I found it a little bit tricky. But I was good at it, I think. We'll put it in the other side because it's kind of, I'm not sure. Then this one is Alexander. You're going in the difficult-ish part. Okay, no. What we need to do is put Greek art and architecture over here. Imperial culture. Roman. This exam I am dreading. It. I hated the term. I hated learning about it. This was the one that I actually genuinely hated, and I've never hated any of these, but this one I hated. And to say you hated 1 out of 6, I think it's not a bad figure. So those are the papers that we have coming up, and I've split them into 2. So that will be April, that will be May, and my exams are in June. So that's a month per 3 papers, which I think is good. Right, let's work this out, guys. Let's work it out right now together. So what I'm trying to do here is to end up with 10 days per exam, which means 1 day per topic, which is 5 days, and the remaining 5 days is rewatching lectures, past papers, and reading. It will leave 10 days per exam times 3 is 30 equals 1 month. So by my logic and the way that I'm trying to do things, I need to ensure that I start working today. So I'm going to start working tonight. I'm going to just take some time off to go take my mum to work and everything like that, and then come back and we just get started because we're losing days. We don't have enough time to mess around at all. And since I've already lost 6 days of this first part, I'm going to start with a topic that I've just recently learned because I've got that fresh in my mind, and it feels like I was already revising for it anyway, so it doesn't need as much time, and I'll come back to it later on. And that topic is imperial culture and society, because I struggled with that one the most. It needs my immediate attention, but I've got it fresh on my mind the most. So that's my logic here, is that I'm going to tackle that one first because it is my absolute least favourite, most difficult for me, but it's the most fresh on my mind. So it just makes sense to get it started so that when I come back to redoing it, you know, it makes a bit more sense to me. And yeah, that's my POA, plan of action. But equally, another way that I might do this, just so that you guys know, I'm still deciding whether I want to go with this method of spending exactly 10 days per exam, or to spend 5 days doing each exam paper and then alternating so I can come back to it. So if I could either, sometimes I hate explaining these things out loud because it makes sense in my head, and then when I say out loud, people are like, that doesn't make any sense, but it really does make sense to me. 5 days per exam, spending 1 day per topic, because I'm only doing 5 topics per exam. So I'll do that, then I'll leave it alone. So that could be, let's just say, imperial culture, right? Then I could repeat that, and do another 5 days per exam, and do 1 day per topic again, just so that it doesn't get boring or repetitive, or like I'm stuck for 10 days and I'm just getting bored of the same thing. I repeat that, but for the other 3 exams. So then that means when I come to the next month, which is May, I'm now going over things. So I'm doing all of the extra parts, like the rewatching of lectures and past papers, etc. And then that means I've had another chance to hear it again. Then in June, when I have the last like 10 days or 15 days before the actual exams begin, because I don't know the actual date of starting, but it's typically mid-June, the last 5 days, I will use that to do 2 days per exam to go over it again, so that by the time I sit my exam, each exam I would have gone over it in April, 5 days each, then in May another 5 days, then in June 2 days. So then I've done 3 layers of one exam, and I can do this 6 times between all the other exams. And I hope this is making sense, because I know in my head it makes sense. It's because I'm doing the repetition method, which you guys might have seen me do last year, and I'm trying to have the chance to repeat the same material over and over and over again. So this would be the same exam, so like sex and gender, do it for 5 days in April, do it for 5 days in May, and then do it for 2 days in June, which doesn't sound like a lot. It sounds like, oh my god, you didn't have enough time to do it, but trust me, it is a lot, because I've been having exams on this. I've been going over and over it for the past like 2 years. This is simply revision, you know, I've already learned it. So I think this is my plan of action, this is my plan of attack, and I like it. I like the look of it. It makes sense. So guys, I hope that made sense and that it wasn't too confusing. I know how my brain works, so to me that plan of action is like, yep, I'm ready to go, and I will know exactly how many hours to put in a day and all that kind of stuff. And I know that I'm supposed to be able to explain things to you guys in a way that makes sense, but when it comes to making a schedule, I think if you guys have been watching any of my videos to do with schedule making, you'll know that it comes out like garbage, but it makes sense to me, and it's worked for me for years. So I always trust my gut and how I work best, but I know that that's not the best way to explain. I can explain revision techniques and study techniques and explain why I read the way I read or why I do what I do, but when it comes to making that schedule, it just makes sense to me and I just can't explain it. So I hope it made somewhat of sense, and I wanted to come and actually make my plan of action live with you and show you how my brain works. And when I came on camera, I had no idea what I was going to do, and now I've got a plan. So I wanted you to see that process for me in my crazy, weird, wacky way. All of this right here needs to enter this right here, and that right there is all of the notes and files and folders and things that I've made in my last 2 years at Oxford, and now it's time to get it all in here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!